Hey, it's your friend Lindsay. Welcome to Small Business Growth Tools, where we grow our businesses and our faith. Stick around and I'll teach you how to take intentional action to grow your small business. All right, friends, I have a special treat for you today. I have Danielle McGuinness. She is an online business manager, shortened to OBM, and she works in the business technology and automation space. And I'm really excited to talk with you, Danielle, today about why business owners think they need to add more tools to their more softwares, more technology, more things to their business, and why that actually may not be the case. So, Danielle, if you would introduce yourself, tell the people all about you, and then we will dive in.
Yes, so I am Danielle McGuinness, and I am, like you said, excuse me, like you said, online business manager. Call myself a systems pro, tech girly by heart. And so what I do is I help my clients to, and I always say like I'm living my best life, and I help them to live theirs. So that's my goal, but to do that with tech, right? So I'm helping them to manage their client processes, and then often remove them as bottlenecks so that they can kind of like get their automation streamlined and working efficiently so that they can do whatever it is that they want to do. That is where I really thrive.
I love that. You are probably the opposite of me. I want to just go out and sell the things and talk to the people and I need someone in my life like you, Danielle, that will fix all the back end things so that I can do that.
Important. The back end is important.
It is so important. It's so important. So let's dive in and let's talk about systems in business.
hmm
And you said before we started recording, you said people get shiny object syndrome, or they don't really assess. They just hear someone saying, I'm using this software, or I'm using this tool, or I'm using this thing, or they're using some sort of software that doesn't do the next step or the next automation. And they go out and they buy something else. And then they end up creating more of a disaster than good, maybe.
Exactly. And they also end up sometimes costing themselves money
Mm,
that, it's a financial hit when most of these tools that people are getting into, that they're not all free. Some are, but some aren't. I can't tell you the amount of people that I've come across who don't even realize what they're paying for. They're not even using these tools, but they're paying for them. So yeah, I think where it starts is, like you said, um, for some odd reason, they just jump, right?
mhm.
It's and I always say it's like more of a knee-jerk reaction instead of like a step out and look at the bigger picture. So it's sometimes it's overwhelm, and that's not an odd reason to want help, right? That's more of a I'm overwhelmed, whether I'm doing too many things, or I'm doing too many things manually. Sometimes if
Mhm.
you don't have a team, automatically you think, okay, I need a tool for every team member that I don't have, like all of those things. And so sometimes people justify all the different tools that they get based on they know they have a need, but they haven't actually like narrowed down what that need is. So they just jump all in on all the things. And then there's this other category of people, and those ones, they're my biz bestie told me to get it category, where
Mhm.
it's whether it's social media or it's something they've seen. Because sometimes people come to my Instagram and they're like, "Oh, you posted this tool, I'm getting it." And I'm like, "No, don't just base that off of someone else telling you that it's worked for them. It definitely needs to make sense for you and your business." But those are the two categories that end folks there.
Okay. That I love that you pointed out, like, someone else is using it, and now I think I need it,
Mhm.
without really assessing the situation. So
That's the
let's
part.
talk about the actual tools. Like, tell me the tools that people are using, or the things that you're seeing. Like, I'm assuming like email marketing's, platforms, or CRMs, or
Yes.
the new latest and greatest hot AI tool, right? Like,
Yep.
tell me some of the things that you see, the tools that people are purchasing that they're not really assessing before they're buying.
Yep. So I'll start with the ones that you just mentioned. So here's an example of one that I see often. So if you have a CRM, client relationship management tool,
Yep.
if you have that tool, you likely have a scheduler built in. I'll keep it super simple.
Ooh.
The amount of people that also subscribe to Calendly who have a CRM as well is is just insane to me. Like, but it's because sometimes they don't know how to properly set each of the tools up to work. And so that's another like category of a band-aid. Okay, I'm just going to jump to Calendly because I don't know how to do the workflows and set everything up with the scheduler in my CRM. So I'm just going to go pay for a year subscription of Calendly. And now you've got two tools that technically overlap.
Okay, you just called me out because I'm pretty sure that's me. So now I'm going to be evaluating that. Thank you very much. What else? Like what are the other things I'm using that I don't actually need?
Okay, let's stick on the
Let's do
CRM
it.
route. Let's stick on the CRM route. So
Yeah,
we've got a
sure.
CRM. Your CRM is designed to send clients a proposal and a contract template most of the time. So if someone has a CRM, but they also subscribe to DocuSign, they're overlapping in subscriptions 9 times out of
Okay.
10.
Okay. So, okay, those are really great examples. Um, so let's talk about how do we assess how do we how do we evaluate and assess whether we actually need a tool or not? I think that Danielle, I don't know how old you are, but I'm 44 and I'm in the generation that grew up with the internet, but
Mhm.
I'm also in the era of things are moving faster than I'm able to keep up with at this point, right? There's all these things out there and clearly I'm guilty of signing up for things that I may not need because my CRM probably does that, but I also have Calendly at the moment. Sorry, Calendly, we love you.
We do.
You are
We
a
do.
really great tool, but we're not calling you out. We're just calling out the fact that we're probably signing up for things we may not need. So how do we
100%.
assess that? How do we what is it that we need to do?
Yeah. So first, you need to know what you need. Very, very
Mm.
simple. And you need to know if you already have tools, it is very important to know all of the features that come with those tools. Because again, sometimes we're in a free plan. And so
Mhm.
we just assume that these limitations exist with the platform as a whole. And so we jump from, oh my goodness, my CRM doesn't do this thing. But meanwhile, you're on the starter plan and you need to pay an additional $12 a month to unlock some more features, but you don't know that, so you then flipped over to a whole nother tool. So I always say, like, learn the tool, and if you don't know the tool, there's a ton of not even CRM, there's a ton of specialists out there
Mhm.
that can tell you those things, and then there's YouTube University, do some
Yes.
research, right,
Yes.
before you make that decision to hop out of the whatever the tool is. That's my first suggestion.
Okay. And I will say, like, I use HubSpot for my CRM, and
Mhm,
they have so many videos and so many like instructions
mhm,
and written and video, and I mean all the ways that you can learn. They
mhm.
have it, so it's out there. We just have to go find it, right?
Exactly, and sometimes, like I said, with ChatGPT, let's fast
Mm,
forward all the way down there.
let's do it.
You can go to ChatGPT and say, "Does my whatever your CRM name is offer a scheduler?" And it'll say yes or no, and then it ChatGPT, even the free plan, now will give you links where it'll tell you, like, okay, yeah, here's how you would do that. Or it'll say, do you want more information or something? And then it'll give you a link. So we can make our research now like even simpler, easier because we're all pressed for time. And I know that that is
Hmm.
the reason sometimes why we make these hasty moves is because we don't have
Yeah.
the time. But let's rely on something like a chat GPT to help us out. Let's cheat.
Right. Right. And I think that's something that I mean, I'm guilty. I don't do that. I don't go, "Hey, do the tools that I already use, free or paid, do all the things that I need to, or is there maybe a $10 upgrade that I need to do rather than paying a completely different tool that's $20 a month."
Exactly.
Right? Like,
Exactly.
okay, so let's talk automations.
Mhm.
What things can we automate in our small business?
So
I mean, I know
I
that's a loaded question.
yes, and
But
we will be on here for 3 hours if I
yeah,
really go deep. But I
like
usually
what are your
tell.
top 3?
Yep. Top 3 is our lead inquiry process.
Okay.
So that's when someone goes on your website and they wanna contact you. A pet peeve of mine has always been the whole email me, like,
Yeah.
um, don't do that. Or you
Okay.
have a form. that you fill out the form, but then you manually still have to reach back out to let them know you received the inquiry, like things like that.
Okay.
So we want that whole process. So whether it's filling out a form and they receive an inquiry that says we've got it, or just the whole like inquiry form plus scheduling an initial consultation with you, that whole
Mhm.
process needs to be automated, right? So
Okay.
that's beginning. And then the middle part is the onboarding process. And I'm jumping, leaving some pretty
Sure.
good gaps,
Sure.
but the next part is onboarding. So we want to make sure that we can onboard. Some people don't send a proposal, but if you have some sort of a hire agreement, automate the sending of the hire agreement. And then the next step usually is receiving payment. So that's all part of the onboarding process. Um, we want to get away from the days of sending a DocuSign or some. I actually had a client recently, and he like told me that he is actually still sending Word docs or PDFs. They print, they sign, they scan. Like
Wow.
that's a lot of steps, right? So
Yeah.
DocuSign is a step above that, but it still involves some manual back and forth and some waiting. So we
Hmm.
want to automate the minute you get off the call, you can pop the information in a proposal and or contract. It shoots off automatically. They do their part. It kicks back to you, but now you've automatically done your part again by sending them the invoice. So that whole onboarding process is number two that I recommend automating.
Hmm.
And then the service delivery process gets a little bit tricky. Everyone has a different way about fulfilling
Sure.
their services. But you can typically, most businesses have some sort of intake information that they need before they can hit the ground running
Hmm.
and perform said service. So I would say there's room for automation inside of that service delivery process. It might not be the whole thing,
Sure.
but at least we can say, "Hey, Lindsay, I'm so excited to get started. Thanks for completing your payment. Complete this form that gives me the information so that I can get started doing X."
Right.
So even if you just do that, that saves you. And I'll give you a fourth:
Okay.
offboarding.
A little
Offboarding,
offboarding.
survey, testimonials, whatever it is. And I like to add in into the offboarding referrals. Ask people
Yes.
for referrals. That can be automated at the end.
Oh, girl, you're speaking my language here. That offboarding piece is so, so super important. It's part of the follow-up process, right? It's part of getting them through your sales funnel and then knowing where you can also re-engage them. Right. So you're
Yes.
getting testimonials, you're asking for referrals, you're getting ratings, you're asking for all of those things, but it also gives you an opportunity to come back to them when you have something new or a new offer or a new product or whatever.
Hmm.
It gives you the opportunity to say, "Hey, thank you so much for the review that you left a few months ago. I really, I wanted to make sure that you knew that we have this new thing." And that allows you to then re-engage them.
Exactly. And you can even bake that in right before you get to that point as well, where you can just say, "Hey, we just finished service this. Don't
Mhm.
forget, my offer suite also includes this, this, and this." You can pop it in even before you get to have to re-engage them. And then you can come back and follow up later as well. So that can all be a part of your offboarding process. And you don't even have to do it if you automate
Oh, I love it.
it.
The more we automate, the less we have to do. And that
Yes.
means less tabs open in my brain.
Isn't that it, right? And when you have a ton of clients, it's hard to keep track without automations, like and so
Mhm.
that's to like, I actually made a joke with my mom, and we were talking about, like, me being in the operations business, and I'm like she's like, "I can't believe you're in this industry," and I'm like, "Sometimes I like to say, did I get into this industry because I'm lazy and I don't wanna have to remember to go back and do all these things?"
I love it.
Um, but really, it's a way of multitasking, right?
Mhm.
We don't have to wanna be in client A and figure out where you are here in client B. Like some of that, we need to take off as much of the burden that's on our shoulders as possible so that we're delivering an excellent client experience. That's what it's really all about.
Well, and it's an excellent client experience, but it means that all of your clients get the same experience.
Consistency.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Right? It's not just
100%.
you remembering the one client and and following up and closing out their time with you. It's doing it consistently across all of your clients so they all get the exact same
Yes.
experience. Not the exact same experience, but they all get the same level of communication and the same level of excellence throughout that offboarding process, or even in the onboarding. Right? They all get that.
and in the right order, and no one's
Yes.
rushed. I can't tell you, like, before I really started to like onboard things, the out of order part, I was the queen of that, where I'm like, "Oh, well, I'll do this right now because this is what I'm thinking of, and I'll do that later." And I would say to myself, "Well, they don't know."
Yeah.
They don't know that you switched things around, but that doesn't mean you ordered it in a certain way for a reason, and so that's why it needs to stay in that order.
Right. Right. Oh, I love this. You've got me thinking about all the tools I don't need and also all the automations I probably need to put in my own business. I actually am a part of two businesses. My husband and I own a local service-based business, and I'm also thinking about how can we automate some of those processes in that local service-based business. So the majority of my listeners are like local service providers. So electricians, pool businesses, HVAC companies, attorneys, med spa owners, that, like people that live and work in their own, their own community.
Mhm.
What would you say would be the biggest thing that is missing in that local business space? Would you say it's automation?
I still would. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I still would. And I know that a lot of the local businesses, some of them are still small businesses. And
Yes.
so time is not on their side all the time, especially if like they have a small team and everyone's out in the field. And so sometimes when we come home, we fall into certain ruts, right?
Yep.
Like we started out with this template that we've been using for the last 5 years since we started our business. And all we have to do is go into Word and change the name, and then we have
Yep.
to change the price, and then we just have to send it off. And so I will say, like, I know that most people have the processes in place. Sometimes it's just a good enough approach.
Yeah.
We all fall into, I can do it, I'm comfortable, but it's still like they still have the same problems as far as like lead capturing and automated responses. I've seen some of the local businesses when I work with them,
Mm-hmm.
there's a delay with when I'm going to get my proposal from you, or I
Yeah.
respond on a question on the contract, but you don't get right back. Now, things like that, yes, but
Sure.
uh, proposal, contract, things of that nature, I'm seeing the delays, and I already in my mind know the delay is because it's manual, right? Because it
Yes.
doesn't need to be manual.
Yeah.
And so when you see a delay that goes along a certain period of time by default, I already know that it's a manual thing. And
Mm-hmm.
payment, same with payment. I know a
Okay.
lot of the local businesses don't. It, they use different types of payment processors, and when you go to use like an automated platform, whether it's a CRM, you oftentimes have to switch payment processors. And again, that's one of those things where it's like, I've been using this. This is how I collect my payments, and now you're telling me I got to switch. I don't have time, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
that's what I see is same problems, but I know that there's this oftentimes more the time aspect. It's just time isn't on their side.
Well, and something that you said sparked some thoughts in my brain about, small business owners we are strapped for time, right?
Mm,
It doesn't matter what type of small business you own. Small businesses are strapped for time, period, because we're all doing all the things.
mhm.
But if you are wanting to grow and scale your company, this is where things fall off,
Yeah.
right? Like this is where the bottleneck is created that's not allowing you to grow and scale in a capacity that's sustainable but also doable.
Yes, and that is the part that is really hard to convince people, and I'll say
Yes.
across the board, and that's why I say good enough approach, because everyone's like, "I'm absolutely fine." Right?
Right.
And so what I usually ask folks is, "Okay, you're fine right now with, say, 5 clients, but if you wanted to double that, then
Could
would you
you?
still be fine?" Yeah,
Right.
and that's the thought process that I try to push people into. You're fine right now, but what are you actually limiting yourself from? It's scaling to double those 5 clients to 10,
Right.
10 clients to 20, or whatever. Yeah.
So what would you say to someone who is in that like ready to grow phase of their business, but what they're really concerned about, and I know that this is something that we've ran into in our local service-based business,
Mhm.
is switching platforms, changing the tools that we're using or implementing the automation, um, is A steep learning curve sometimes. But B, we want to ensure so badly that we are providing the same level of service and excellence that we were before when we were doing things manually. And sometimes the reason we're doing it manually is because it's an extra touch point with the customer verbally, like over the phone, or it's an extra, like it's a personalized email, not a generic, like not that like
Mm-hmm.
templated thing. What would you
Mm-hmm.
say to someone that has those concerns?
I actually love this question a lot because I've gotten the automation is robotic
Mm-hmm.
response from like people that I've tried to push over into automation. And I say this. So, on the robotic piece of it, when we build and automate things in the CRM, you don't lose your brand. So you don't lose your voice. We just build the brand and your voice over into the template. So a prime example is your website. Your website isn't you. You're not
Sure.
you don't have a commercial. It's as close to you as it could get, right? And everyone knows that that is your brand, that is what you represent. So that brand, that voice carries into your CRM. So, and I'm using that as an example just for like
Sure.
lead. Those are where people are like, oh, I don't want someone to not feel like it's me. So we infuse everything about you into your emails and you can write your own email. So if you usually would say, "Hey Lindsay, hey girl," if you would say, "Hey
Yeah.
girl," say "Hey girl" in the CRM. If you would
Mm-hmm.
say, "Bye for now," put "Bye for now" in the emails. I have a love of like the memes and things of that nature. So if you book with me, you see that I've got a ton of different memes that I thoughtfully selected because I have
Love it.
loved them. They are inside of my email templates, and I can't tell you the amount of people that respond to me and they think that it's me. They don't. They
They don't
respond.
know.
They don't know. So there is a level of personalization that you can most certainly do when it comes to, making sure that it's not robotic. Now, in terms of making sure that that same level of experience or touch points exist as manual, that
Mm-hmm.
that involves planning. It involves someone that knows the tool. So this is the part where I know sometimes it causes a little bit of friction, but if you are not a tech person, if this makes you uncomfortable, then you might want to seek support to make sure that it's going to be set up properly, to make sure that there's not going to be an email firing off to your client that shouldn't have. And
Mm-hmm.
if you bring someone else on, even to just help you build it, then you won't have to worry because they're going to make sure that it's set up and they're going to test it. And if you don't have, the funds to invest in a person, then you're going to have the time to build it, test it, tweak it, build it, test it, tweak it until it's exactly how you want it to be.
Right. Okay. I love this. I love that there is so much personalization. That's a long word.
It is, isn't it?
Personalization, even even in automation, even in creating some of these processes that are automatically happening in your business when triggered, right? Like you're
Yes,
not sending a contract to someone that's not ready for the contract, right? Like
exactly.
you are making sure that it's still personalized. And I think that's where a lot of small businesses run up against themselves. They've created this bottleneck because they're not willing to lose the control of and they're not willing to automate things because control is how they've built it.
It's
Right?
good enough. It's good
Yeah.
enough. That's what that
Yeah.
is. It's like I've done this. It's got me here for 5 to 5, sometimes longer. Some
Yes.
people have been going longer and they're like, this is good enough.
Right.
And so yeah, and I'll say it's a control thing, and then some people are just plumb scared.
Yeah.
So like when I implement, I do a lot of CRM setups, and Dubsado is one of them that
Mhm.
I have people come to me and they're like, I don't want to use it anymore because I set it up and clients were getting emails that they weren't supposed to get. And I'm like, I'm sure that they were. If you did it yourself, no
Sure.
offense, but you probably don't have some triggers that are set up correctly. And so you pop someone into a workflow and they got the 5 first emails that are for payment made, contract paid,
Yep.
intake all at once. But we as an operations, this is where I come in. I know that I'm supposed to trigger this action based off that one, based off that one, off of that one. Right.
Right.
So that's why I say, like, sometimes the fear is a result of just like not knowing the platform,
Hmm.
and not really acknowledging that you don't know the platform.
Right. Just call me out again. I mean,
Uh,
geez. And it's
said
really,
with love.
I know, said with love. I'm all about it. Like, call me out all you need to. It's fine. I am, I am, I am not afraid of that. I am sitting here thinking, I wonder what my CRM does. Like, I wonder all the tools that I'm not using inside of my CRM that could really, really take some things off my plate.
Oh, yeah. Well, you said you use HubSpot. That's what you
I
said, right?
do. Yeah.
Yeah, HubSpot's a pretty robust one. So it
Hmm.
it it does quite a bit.
Yes.
I can tell you
Yeah.
that.
I use the
Hmm.
free one, but if I upgraded to the $10 one, would it do exactly what I need? And I could get rid of
Yeah.
some of this other stuff, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure the
Hmm.
calendar thing is one of them. But
Hmm.
I going back to the local service-based businesses, I do think that this is something that people really need to consider when they are starting to build out a team, when they are wanting to grow and they're not seeing that traction. Look at this in your business. Look at the automations. Look at where things may be bottlenecking. Look at the ways that you are manually doing repeatable tasks, and then get with Danielle and she'll fix it.
Pretty much.
I mean,
Pretty much.
seriously.
But yeah, it's really looking like, and that's what sometimes we don't have time to do, right? No one
Right.
has time to stop and look. One of the clients that I was working with, like I started working with her years ago, and we're still in touch now. She created what she called the "I hate doing this" list.
Hmm.
And so it was a Google Doc. It wasn't anything fancy or anything like that, but she just wrote down, "I hate this." And
Hmm.
whatever it was that she was doing, and she hated it. And she went from there and determined, okay, is this something I can automate, or is this something that I can delegate to a person,
Yeah.
right? If you're ready to hire a team member. And I know we're talking systems right now, but
Yeah.
there is an important boundary between what tools have limitations, right? So sometimes it may be that it just can't be automated, and it shouldn't be you because you're the CEO and it's time to bring on a team member, right? So I just wanted to
Right.
set that everything can't be automated, but a good
Right.
portion can be.
Right. And there are things that you may not want to automate in your business because, for example, in our local service-based business, we want our our lead technician going out. We want him to go out and see the pool before we take it on, so that A, we can give a proper price
Mhm.
for service and maintenance and repairs and all the things. But two, because if he goes there, we are like 90, 95, 96% certain we'll get the sale. We are
Because
not
yeah,
automating that process, right?
yeah,
Like, we are not automating that part of our business. But what we could automate is the client intake, getting all the, getting all of this information. We could automate the terms of service that they have to sign. Like, there are,
100%.
right? There are
Yes,
things that you don't want to automate so that you don't lose sales, but there are things that can be automated that could take some of the workload and some of the mental load off of you and or your team.
exactly. Because and there's still important touch points that you're automating, right? So lead generation is important because lead generation is the amount of people you're going to be going out to. So that's we want to make sure that everyone who comes in feels like we know they're there and that they are
Mhm.
important to us. That's still important, even though it doesn't stop the visit. It's still important to make them because that's a first impression, right? And
Yep.
then I always tell people make it easy for them to pay you. So if
Yes.
there's any friction between the proposal, contract, and invoice, you are literally only delaying the amount of time it takes for that money to get deposited into your bank account.
Yes.
So make it easy, make it simple, and don't make them
Mhm.
have to wait on you. Like if you want to be paid, make sure that process it
Yes.
reflects that.
Yes. I love this. Danielle, someone is listening to this saying, I need her in my life. How do they get a hold of you?
So I am cutting edge operations everywhere. My website is cuttingedgeoperations.com. I'm on Instagram, cutting edge ops. I am cutting edge ops also on LinkedIn as well. So that's where you can find me. I am
I love
around.
it.
I am ready to talk.
She's ready to go. I'm
Let's
ready to
go.
go with you to tell me all the things my CRM does and all the tools I can get rid of. This was a really important conversation, and especially for those of you small business owners who are ready to grow and scale, this is a part that you cannot miss. So if you have questions, if you are looking for ways you can automate in your business, Danielle is your girl. So please do reach out to her. All right, friends, that's a wrap on episode 120. I hope this was super helpful and at least got you thinking about some areas of your business that might be bottlenecking or might be stopping you from the growth that you are desiring in your business. Before we go, I want to make sure that you know about something exciting that's coming in September 2026. If you've been listening to this podcast and thinking, I know I need to get better at sales, but I don't know exactly what to say or how to lead the conversation, then I want you to join the waitlist for the Sell with Confidence Live. This is my online sales training experience where I'll teach you how to confidently guide sales conversations, understand what motivates buyers, how to handle objections naturally, and close more sales without feeling pushy, awkward, or salesy. The event isn't until September, so the wait list is now officially open, and those on the wait list will get the first access to the tickets and some special bonuses when registration opens. You can join the wait list at lindsayfletcher.co/waitlist. Okay, go do that now so that you don't miss out on the first seats available. All right, thank you again for listening to Small Business Growth Tools. As always, I'm cheering for you and I'm praying for you and your business. I'll talk to you next week.